and Dennis Rodman capable of inhaling 20 rebounds in any game. Now, the Bulls, if they can turn that defense into enough easy baskets, they'll turn back the challenge of Orlando today.
And Matt, a festive atmosphere here at the United Center to capture it all. A festive guy, Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. I just left both locker rooms, and there really is a playoff atmosphere going on here in the United Center today. Now I'm up in the lobby of the United Center, and the playoff atmosphere has come out here. They have a live band down here. They got all kinds of stuff that you can do. We talked to a ticket scalper. He said that the tickets are $1,100 a seat courtside, $150 a seat all the way up in the nosebleed, and get this, Marv, $50 for standing room only. And I know you needed some tickets, so to just show you what kind of guy I am, I got you 3, big fella. 3 standing room only tickets.
But Matt, we regret to say Ahmad will not be with us on the sidelines today. He has been arrested for the manner in which he obtained those tickets. We'll be back with the lineups from Chicago right after this.
Less than a minute, 16 down. This one is over.
Hey, it ain't over until the fat lady sings.
Hey, wait a minute. That's Larry Bird.
Don't believe it. Believe it. Can't bring it.
Bird is in. Bird for 3. Bird dunks.
Bird dunks.
Of course, he's in the zone. What a comeback.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Oh, cue that fat lady.
No, 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 no.
It's an automobile that has become part of the American landscape. A car that for over 2 million people has become an indispensable part of their lives. Automobile Magazine called it the best car built in America. We call it the 1996 Camry, the gold standard from Toyota. It was about innovation. It was about elegance. It was about convenience. It was about service. It was about dependability. It still is. The employee owners of TWA. We're up to something good in Europe and our over 80 destinations around the world.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. With a great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Toyota Camry, the gold standard. And by Prudential. Live well. Make a plan. Be your own rock.
We welcome you back to Chicago. 411th consecutive sellout here at the United Center as we check out the Orlando Magic starting lineup. Penny Hardaway and Chicago native Nick Anderson in the backcourt. Nick rounding up 25 tickets for family and friends for today's game. Shaquille O'Neal, Dennis Scott, and the former Chicago Bull Horace Grant are up front. And the coach of the Magic, Brian Hill, who feels since the All-Star break, the Magic playing with more of a sense of urgency. And since then, they have won 6 in a row. For the Bulls, in the backcourt, Michael Jordan and Ron Harper. Harper playing so well this season. In fact, had a season high of 22 against the Cavaliers earlier in the week. Luke Longley back in the lineup after sitting out for 9 games with the sprained knee. Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman on the front line. This a Chicago team that comes off a shocking defeat. Phil Jackson's club Friday night losing in Miami to the Heat, 113-104. The Bulls had won 7 in a row. They lose to a team that dressed only 8 players following the flurry of trades that were pulled off by Pat Riley on the Heat.
And Phil Jackson and the team very upset with the way they started that game in Miami on Friday night and the way they started the game in Atlanta the night before. They had to come back, make a strong comeback to win that game in Atlanta. So the big talk yesterday at the Chicago practice was we cannot come out complacently. We have to come out and set the tone, especially in our building, and that means be aggressive defensively and get out and run as much as possible.
And the Magic, in their last outing in Milwaukee on Friday night, had an easy time as they beat the Bucks 115-102. Orlando in that game led by as many as 31 points. The officials: Dick Bavetta, Ken Mauer, Tommy Nunez. Orlando has beaten Chicago 8 of the last 11 meetings. That includes the playoff series last spring.
And a key for Orlando is to make Chicago pay for all the double teaming with good percentage shots, including the open three. And keep an eye on Luke Longley. He tends to get in foul trouble early.
So the Magic controlling the opening tip. Anderson able to shake off Jordan and then shoots over Longley. So the Magic with a 2-0 lead. The Bulls 24-0 here at home. 31 straight in the regular season at home, dating back to last year. To tie the game.
Layup drill so far on the first two baskets. Nobody home underneath to protect the basket.
Here's the double on Shaquille. Pippen over to help. Freeing up Hardaway. Hardaway met on the switch by Rodman. Longley with the rebound. Hopper. Pippen. He has been hitting the three. Met on a switch by Grant. Jordan has not touched the ball. First two sequences. Now he does. And finds Pippen for three. Yes! The Bulls 5. The Magic 2.
Well, Scottie Pippen is playing with a very sore right knee. The tendonitis problem has started way before the All-Star game, and in a lot of pain. It had to feel good to get that first one down. He was just 4 for 18 in the loss in Miami on Friday.
Now single coverage on O'Neal, and Shaquille is able to take it right to Luke Longley. The Bulls 5 and the Magic 4. Anderson guarding Jordan. Here is Pippen. Good fake on Hardaway. Then he's around Grant for the reverse. The tip by Rodman. The Bulls lead 7-4. Anderson played tightly by Jordan. Scott watched by Rodman. Again, no double team. O'Neal. We may start seeing the double team.
Well, we will, although a lot of teams and the better teams are playing him one-on-one for a while to try to make Shaq make shots. And by that I mean the jump hook and jump shots.
Longley trying the running hook. Orlando 12 and 14 on the road, but they've picked it up as of late. They've had all kinds of problems earlier on the road. They have won their last 3, including a big one against the Indiana Pacers. O'Neal. Shaquille has hit his first 3 shots, and the Magic up by 1.
Well, again, this looks like the strategy early, and as long as Shaq is taking and making those shots, they won't really be concerned.
Open jumper to Jordan. Michael Jordan, who did not shoot well the other night of the loss to Miami, 9 of 21, able to hit on his first attempt.
Of course, when Longley gets in foul trouble, or when Wennington comes in, or when Shaq starts getting deeper position and starts laying it in or dunking it, then we'll see the double.
Oh, excellent shooting start by both teams. Horace Grant with his first field goal. Orlando 5 of 6 from the field, and Chicago hitting 4 of its first 6. The Bulls trailing 10-9. They double up on Jordan. Rodman for Longley. Rebound Rodman. The tip missed by Rodman. And then run down by Grant.
So far, Horace having a little problem keeping Dennis from getting his hand on the ball. He's got it about 4 or 5 times already.
Open shot for Grant.
He's been shooting the ball beautifully. He's shooting 58% in the last 11 games. And Dennis Rodman, who has the assignment, is around the basket, sucked in by the advancement of the Magic.
So Orlando's hit 6 of its first 7 from the field. A timeout taken. They lead by 3.
You got a wet spot? Let's go. Right here.
You missed the spot.
Thank you.
Because someday you'll get that big promotion that moves you to Seattle. someday kids will be in the picture. And someday you'll get away to write the great American novel. It'll happen. That's why we've spent 28 years constantly improving the Corolla. So wherever life takes you, we'll be there. The newly restyled Toyota Corolla. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
This is my planet.
Yeah, yeah, I do believe.
And this is a guy thing, right?
The all-new Tracer FX with its unique skin guard
Is this a sensitive part?
is designed to give a man a smooth shave with less irritation. Chic Tracer FX.
The sensitive type? I like that.
.22 left first quarter. The Magic 12 and the Bulls 9. And this is as significant a regular season game that you will find on the schedule. We talked about that with Michael Jordan.
I think it's important to a point where you have to establish yourself at home against a contender that you may have to face in the playoffs. I think if you give them too much confidence with them coming into your building, then you're losing some of that little edge that you may have, and the home court advantage really doesn't mean much.
For more on Michael, let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, although Michael loves playing in games like this, today he could be hampered a little bit. He hasn't been feeling well the last couple of days. Spent most of the day yesterday in bed, went to bed early. I talked to him this morning. He said he felt a lot better, and the only thing is it could affect his stamina a little bit. He just has to see how it goes as he plays. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, and Jordan able to dump it off down low, but Pippen was stripped. It will be Chicago ball with 11 on the shot clock. Scottie Pippen only 4 of 18 the other night against Miami. Dennis Rodman only 11 rebound. Had some difficulties with the officials. Like hit with a technical. Happy as the officials were with him.
Well, Dennis is always on the brink of a technical foul. He jabbers a lot with the officials, and a lot of gestures, a lot of clapping, and he only played 28 minutes in that game. Big reason for only 11 rebounds.
Rodman is tied for the NBA lead with 19 technicals. And Hardaway makes it 14-9. Tied with Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns, who we'll see later on here on NBC as the Suns go up against the New York Knicks in the second of our doubleheader. Now Pippen with the move. Gives it to Longley. With the set shot from the angle. And the Bulls are down by 3 for Longley, his first field goal. Here's Shaquille, right back the line drive hook. Nice jump hook. He's actually shooting down.
Well, the amazing thing so far, Longley, no fouls right now, but Shaq is knocking everything he puts up.
And Shaquille is 4 for 4 from the field. Here's the double team on O'Neal. Good look as he finds Horace Grant.
Well, the Magic are reading every little double team there is. On the last give-and-go cut with the Penny Hardaway, they came down off the pass. Pippen went, and they read it beautifully. This time, Horace Grant just goes right to the basket on the big double team.
Harper for 3. Yes. Ron Harper with his first field goal. The Magic up by 4. Orlando on fire here in this opening quarter. They've hit their last 8 shots. They're 9 for 10 from the field. Good play by Harper to knock it away. Harper with the steal. Jumping out to break up the pass. Pippen with the ball fake. What a ball! And Horace Grant. The Magic 18 and the Bulls 16. Shaquille O'Neal in deep. That time the shot came up short. He was looking around for a call. Harper on the run, feeding Longley. And he's tied the game at 18.
Well, this is the one thing that the Magic did not want, to give up transition baskets, especially dunks, to get this crowd involved in the ballgame. But usually the dunks they don't want to see are the ones by Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen. It's a little bit different with Luke Longley.
7-0 run by Chicago. Hopper's done a good job against Scott. Ennis not able to find his shot. 5 on the 24. Hardaway, nice fake. What a move by Penny Hardaway, sliding his way on the spin, and the Magic up 20-18. Hardaway with a second field goal. He's been distributing the ball here in the early going. 3 assists for Penny. We come up on 5 minutes left in the first quarter. They double Pippen. Good job by the Magic on the trap.
Well, strong trap, and the Magic want to do that in any pick and roll situation that Pippen is involved in or Michael Jordan. They want to trap it hard. They don't mind if they throw the ball back to Rodman, who's generally not looking to score when he catches.
Anderson. Nice. Anderson going glass, putting the move on Jordan. The Magic leading 22-18.
Well, Anderson and Scott are not getting their normal open looks on double teams on a Hardaway or O'Neal, so they're going to have to start posting up or going one-on-one.
Orlando has hit 11 of 13 from the field. Shot clock at 5. Pippen recovered by Longley. Just deep the 24. Third field goal for Luke Longley. And it's Orlando 22, Chicago 20. Shaquille O'Neal went to a second option and then fouled. Or did he foul? Apparently the foul on Shaquille for pushing Dennis Rodman.
So Shaq probing a little bit there. He's been able to get the little jump hook going. Tried the little turnaround jump shot that came up way short. He wants to see if he can't get Luke Longley in a little bit of foul trouble by challenging him, taking him hard to the basket, because so far Luke Longley doing a fine job scoring and defending.
Amazingly, that's the first foul of the game. It has been moving in very fluid fashion. The first foul picked up a moment ago by Shaquille O'Neal.
When I say Longley doing a good job defending, yes, Shaq is scoring, but they're the kind of shots that you don't really mind. You don't want Shaq laying it up or dunking it if you're Chicago, and this is really unusual for Luke Longley to stay out of foul trouble this long into the first quarter.
13 on the 24 for the Bulls. Last season, the Magic took 3 of 4 against Chicago and beat the Bulls 4 games to 2 in last year's Eastern Conference semifinal series. Series very vivid in the minds of Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Jordan. And deflected out by Longley.
Well, Michael, very quiet, very tentative, and obviously he is bothered by whatever is ailing him right now. But we have seen over the years, if anybody can play either with pain or being sick, it is Michael Jordan.
3.5 remaining in this first quarter. Hardaway knocks down the three-pointer. 7 for Penny Hardaway. And it's the Magic 25, the Bulls 20. Longley. Well, he's been the offense for the Bulls in this first quarter. 8 points for Luke Longley. It's the Magic by 3.
Oh, incredible shooting by both teams. A very tentative defense by both teams here. First time, a little bit of pressure by Michael Jordan forcing a turnover. Michael in the medium post area, expecting a double team. It never really got there, but Luke Longley, if he just hangs in that 15, 16-foot area, he'll be open for that shot anytime he wants it. Shaq will not come out on him.
And as Pippen made his move, he was held. Foul committed by Hardaway. And a timeout taken with 2:48 left. First quarter, you're watching the NBA on NBC.
ท่าทางเหนื่อยเชียวอย่างนี้แหละต้องรื้อปรับระบบต้องหาคนช่วยเสียเงินแต่ก็ไม่ดีขึ้นใช่วะอย่างนี้ต้อง IBM เอ้ยเราต้องซื้อฮาร์ดแวร์เพิ่มสิไม่ใช่ IBM อ่ะเขามีบริการปรึกษาการจัดระบบเขาจะมาอยู่กับคุณจนงานเรียบร้อยเลยหุ้นผมขึ้นเลยครับขายเลยครับ
No stick. Swing batter. Home baby, home baby.
Your next meal might be some time off. Remember, nothing satisfies like Snickers. Hungry? Why wait?
That's all right.
If it wasn't for music, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I'm able to do something that not everybody does. Going into the entertainment business where there's no security. And you say, listen, I've got to do something else to supplement what I'm doing. Some people wrap themselves around the trunk of a tree, and this is where they stay. But you've got to go out on that limb. You have to have faith in yourself.
You mechanic here, this just in. Right now, McDonald's famous double cheeseburger or sausage biscuit with egg is just 89 cents. 89 cents, that's a big deal. Up next, America lands on the moon. Woohoo! Oh, sorry, old script.
It has the highest ground clearance in its class. But more importantly, 1996's Pickup Truck of the Year comes with 190 horses, all with big chips on their shoulders. Toyota Tacoma. You simply can't buy a more powerful compact truck.
Coming up next, the incomparable Charles Barkley leads the Phoenix Suns as they host the always tough New York Knicks. Next on the NBA on NBC.
Well, both clubs red hot here in the early going. Brian Hill and his Orlando Magic red hot at home, invincible this season at the arena. 28-0 at home. The road record 12-14, as we mentioned a moment ago. They have won 3 straight, though, on the road. 28-0 is the NBA record for consecutive home victories at the start of a season. They broke the Washington Capitals mark of 27 straight. They opened the 40, as you remember, Matt, opened the 46-47 season, the longest standing record in NBA history. The NBA record for an entire season, as you see, Jordan knocked down the 3. The record for an entire season is 40-1. 22nd timeout is called. The 86 Boston Celtics went 40-1, and that's in sight for both Orlando and Chicago this year.
Well, Michael Jordan trying to get himself going and involved in this ball game. Getting a nice little brush screen from Dennis Rodman to just catch up top, and then Nick Anderson with his hands down, thinking and trying to take away drive always from Michael Jordan. But Michael very comfortable this season, shooting that jumper that most teams are giving him. And of course, he's leading the league in scoring at 31 a game.
Jordan 2 of 3 from the field. As you look at the stat line, 3 assists for Michael here at the start. Game is tied at 25, 2.5 left in this first quarter. Light pressure being shown by Hopper on Scott. O'Neal moving down low. Hardaway finds him. Here's the double. O'Neal with some nice footwork. And it's the Magic 27. The Bulls 25. Shaquille is 5 of 6, 10 points.
Well, once Shaq puts it on the floor, then the Bulls do want to come. But when he turns baseline, he can't get there.
And Scott with the rebound, protecting against Rodman. Anderson for 3. O'Neal with the rebound. And a foul. Foul committed by Scottie Pippen.
Well, when Shaq gets a tight position with 1 foot in the lane, then somebody has to come, and they start to come from the top, but very slowly. Pippen never gets there, and Longley a little bit leery of giving Shaq that move to the middle, open up the baseline, and a nice little extra step move in there by Shaq to go to the other side of the rim.
Shaquille only 46% from the foul line. Take a look at this. Although he is in good company in this department, Wilt Chamberlain, your one-time teammate, with the dubious distinction of 38%. That Shaquille right now is the 5th worst of all time at 46%. The Magic up 28-25 with just under 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Pippen on the drive. Scottie Pippen flowing to the basket. He has 9. And it's Orlando by 1.
It's amazing how driving lanes open when the Bulls run their offense, start on one side, swing it to the other, and the defense have to shift. And when you have a Jordan and Pippen who can knife into those driving lanes, you can create a lot of havoc for the opponent's defense.
Shot clock at 5. Hardaway kept alive by O'Neal. He tried to save it and slipped. So the Bulls will get him back.
Well, just like Michael Jordan, you want to take away Scottie Pippen's drive to the basket. Just an overcommitment that time by Penny Hardaway coming out instead of just coming out under control and forcing Pippen to the baseline. He opened up the middle and no help could get there in time.
Bill Weddington and Steve Kerr have checked in, replacing Luke Longley and Michael Jordan. Longley 4 of 7, 8 points. Jordan sitting down with 5. And as mentioned earlier by Ahmad Rashad, Michael playing under the weather. Pippen, call for steps. Traveling violation. So it will be Orlando in possession. They lead by 1 with 52 seconds to go in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Kukoc, and Ahmad Rashad from Chicago. Beautiful lead thrown by Brian Shaw, who just checked in. Penny Hardaway also took a shot in the mouth in the process.
Well, anytime Brian Shaw comes into the game, he's always looking for that alley-oop lob to Penny Hardaway.
Harper on the follow, and he was fouled. Harper will go to the line.
Well, Penny Hardaway has put a couple of beautiful moves on a very tough defender, Scottie Pippen. He just drop-stepped him and spun to the basket. And Brian Shaw, who throws that pass well, but as Brian Hill, the coach of Orlando, always tells Brian, he said, oh, you'd have so many turnovers if you were throwing to normal people, but when you throw them to Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal, they make you look awful good.
Harper fouled by Kukoc, who has come on for O'Neal.
32 seconds.
Harper, a 71% free throw shooter, had the good game against his former team, the Cavaliers, earlier this week with a season high of 22. That is his 4th point of the quarter. Orlando 30, Chicago 28. Brian Shaw now handling. Met by the former member of the Magic, Steve Kerr. Hardaway backing his way to the fadeaway. And knocked out of bounds by the Magic.
We really shouldn't be surprised by this much scoring in the first quarter. You have the Bulls, who are leading the league in scoring this year. Last year, the Orlando Magic led the league at about 110 points a game. And right now, the Magic, since the All-Star break, averaging 112 a game. So they obviously have a high-powered offense, as do the Chicago Bulls.
Rodman sitting down, replaced by Kukoc. Tony Kukoc had a strong game earlier this season against Orlando. The Bulls down by 2 with 10 seconds left. First quarter. Kukoc around Kukoc. And time runs out in this opening quarter. It's the Magic 30 and the Bulls 28. Both teams shooting well. Orlando 14 of 20 from the field. Shaquille with 11 points. Pippen with 9. Back in a moment. Back at the United Center right after these words.
With its available 183 horsepower engine, the all-new 4Runner is so rugged it can take you far from civilization. Which is ironic when you consider that with its immense, well-appointed interior, civilization is never all that far away. The all-new 4Runner from Toyota.
This is my planet.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
You mechanic here, this just in. Right now, McDonald's famous double cheeseburger or sausage biscuit with egg is just 89 cents. 89 cents, that's a big deal. Up next, America lands on the moon. Woohoo! Oh, sorry, old script.
Thanks to Sprint Business, there's a company who does more business in skis.
Sprint gave us an edge.
Sprint worked with Volant and brought them real solutions to help them get ahead so they can check orders online from anywhere and promote new products through video conferencing. Now they do business a whole new way.
And sales are really soaring.
Help your business do more business. Call Sprint Business.
This is the NBA on NBC.
After one quarter, it's the Magic by 2 over the Bulls. Our Ahmad Rashad roaming through the United Center. Let's go to Ahmad, who is upstairs in the concourse.
Thanks, Marv. Here at the United Center, they have everything you could possibly want as a fan. Now, you know, last year the NBA did over $3 billion in marketing, gross. And the top two teams were the Magic and the Chicago Bulls. But here at this place called Fandemonium, you can get almost anything. Look at this. This is a Dennis Rodman t-shirt. They have all his tattoos. There's the one he has on his belly. Here's the ones he has on his arms, over here, and on his back. See, you can get all that stuff. And Mark, I got this for you. And Matt, I wouldn't leave you out. I got something. I said they have something for everybody. This one's for you.
Nice item, Mike.
Well, Ahmad, I want to thank you. I could use it. I have been dribbling my food lately.
Oh, boy. Orlando 30, Chicago 28. 14 of 20 shooting for the Magic in the first quarter. 11 points for Shaquille O'Neal, 9 for Penny Hardaway, along with 4 assists. Bill Wennington has tied the game at 30. So Phil Jackson getting good work offensively out of the center tandem. Longley with 8, and Wennington with his first field goal. Ryan Shaw, played by Steve Kerr. Dennis Scott posting up over Pippen. And rebounded by Harper.
Well, unusual for Dennis Scott not to get any shots in that first quarter. That's his first one of the game. But with Shaq or Penny not getting double teamed, Dennis Scott does not get a lot of looks from the perimeter.
And Pippen hit on the arm by Brian Shaw. Anthony Bowie on the floor for the first time for Orlando. So a backcourt of Shaw and Bowie with Koncak, Scott, and Grant on the front line. Pippen to the third option and then changed his mind. 3-second violation.
3 or 6 seconds, whatever the case may be, as Scottie explored every possibility to get a shot up there, just never got out of the lane.
Rest period for both Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan. And a technical foul has been called by Tommy Nunez on Phil Jackson.
Well, the whole Bulls organization very, very tight today. Before the game, very testy in the locker room when normally people are allowed to drift in there.
You sure it wasn't you, Matt?
I didn't try to get in. It was Ahmad they were throwing out of there.
That is understandable.
But coming off, I guess when a team rarely loses, as the Bulls do, coming off that loss to Miami Heat the other night, they spent a lot of time not so much practicing yesterday, which they normally like to do. Here's Phil Jackson trying to talk to Tommy Nunez about what's going on out there, and no doubt used some language that Tommy did not want to hear.
Let's check in with Ahmad.
Well, as you can see there, Horace Grant standing in front of Phil Jackson. He kept telling him to sit down, get out of the way. Finally, when he got the technical, Horace said, "Hey, I told you to sit down."
And I'm sure Phil appreciated that. Traveling violation is called. Although Horace Grant publicly has said the right things about Phil Jackson when he did part with the Chicago Bulls, there were some words from Horace regarding Phil that were not on the positive side.
I think they like to needle each other.
Play by Shaw to slap it away. Minute and a half gone by in this second quarter. Blocking foul called on the Magic. It's on John Kukoc. That's a quick 3 on Kukoc.
Well, the Magic want Kukoc to throw his weight around and be physical. Looks like anytime Pippen gets the ball below the free throw line or Jordan, that they will come and double, and they want to double hard and be physical, but John Kukoc just couldn't control himself there.
Hopper lost the dribble and is tied up. Bowie ties it up. Hopper was trying to call for a timeout. John Kukoc with 3 personals in 2 minutes. John Kukoc spent 10 years with the Atlanta Hawks, signed with Orlando as a free agent, and started the first 23 games with Shaquille O'Neal injured. Did a nice job. Originally the number 5 pick overall in the 1985 draft. Kerr met by Kukoc on a switch. And Wellington has the mismatch against Bowie, who's battling for position. And illegal defense called for the first time against the Magic.
Well, Brian Shaw waiting for that ball to go in there and then to go to double team, but he just hesitated a little bit, and once he got below that free throw line extended and didn't go double team, Scottie Pippen was screaming at the official Tommy Nunes to call the illegal, and he finally did.
Kerr and Hopper at the guards. Wellington with Kukoc and Pippen up front. They double up on Pippen. Kerr with the head fake to set up Kukoc for 3. Tony Kukoc from downtown, and the Bulls lead by 2.
Well, they're the kind of shots when you get when you double team. Horace Grant came down to double Pippen, and then Bulls moved it around nicely to find the open man, Kukoc.
And shortly we will see the return of Shaquille O'Neal. He's made his way over to the scorer's table. Rejected. Pippen for Kukoc. Backs it up for 3. Tony Kukoc with successive 3-pointers. The Bulls by 5. Here's Scott for 3. And Dennis Scott answers at the other end. So the Bulls lead by 2.
You can see Dennis has the itchy trigger finger right now. As soon as he catches it, he wants to shoot. Here's a turnover.
Shaw with the steal, able to poke it away from Pippen. Dennis Scott with 165 3-pointers. And Brian Shaw has tied the game at 36. Scott leads the NBA in 3-pointers. Made 150 all of last season, and he's been on a tear as of late from 3-point range. Foul is called a hold on Shaw, trying to keep Pippen away. That's the first committed by Shaw, and a timeout is taken. 8:54 remaining. First half. The game tied at 36.
Charles Barkley and the Suns host the New York Knicks next on NBC.
Adventurous nature lover seeks outdoor type for getaway weekends. Must like camping and hiking. Interest in kayaking a plus. Ownership of Jeep Cherokee a definite plus. Social climbing highbrows need not apply. P.S. Please send picture of Jeep Cherokee.
Have you heard what Jim's driving?
What's he got now?
You should see this thing. What an incredible machine. Sleek, aerodynamic.
Fast?
Oh yeah, that baby really moves.
So what kind of engine does he have in that thing anyway?
Nuclear reactor.
You'd be amazed at what teenagers are driving these days.
Right full rudder, steady course 355, helm on.
For more information, call 1-800-USA-NAVY.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. By Jeep, makers of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. And by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, "This is my planet"?
56-degree day. Former Bull Horace Grant has been very active in this second quarter. Now, Matt, a couple of weeks ago when Orlando was struggling, he made some strong statements. We'll be out of the playoffs in the first round if we stay on the path we're on right now. And because we got to the finals last season, the heads around here got a little too big. We talked about those strong comments with Horace.
A few guys didn't like it, but you know that's tough luck. You know, I'm gonna speak my mind, and I think it got some of my teammates' attention. And right now, we're playing the way I want us to play, the way the coaching staff and our fans want us to play.
Well, Horace did some of that last year and also did it when he was a member of the Bulls. He does it sometimes just because he means it. As Tony Kukoc red hot from the perimeter. Horace says it a lot of times in the heat of after battle, right after a game, because he means it, and I think there's a part of him that wants to fire his team up, and it was effective.
Tony Kukoc has hit 3 of 3 from three-point land, and the Bulls now lead 39-36. Michael Jordan is back, as is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille on the follow is held, so the foul is called. Ron Harper came over to help and has called for his first, so the 46% free throw shooting, Shaquille O'Neal will go back to the line.
I think the Bulls feel they made a mistake last year going into the playoffs when they had the three centers and they talked about having 18 fouls. Well, the officials read about that and called a lot of fouls on Chicago. Shaq shot 14 a game in that series. They don't necessarily want to foul Shaq. In the situation he just found himself there underneath the basket going up to dunk or lay it up, yes, that's when they want to foul him, but they normally don't want to put him on the line just to foul him.
And he's now in the line drive mode, just firing it up. And Shaquille is 1 of 4 at the line. The Bulls by 3 points. 4 minutes in. Second quarter. Jordan spinning on Shaw. The tip missed, and back comes Shaw. Bowie running the floor. Was a bit too deep, could not hit the reverse. Here comes Kerr on a 3-on-1. Joe Wolf is back. Jordan is fouled by Wolf.
The Orlando personal foul.
And a good foul by Wolf, making it very difficult for Michael to convert.
Well, normally Steve Kerr does not find himself running the middle on the fast break, but a wise decision to give it up to the hard-cutting Michael Jordan going strong to the basket. And you're right, Marv, a good foul by Joe Wolf, even though Michael is an outstanding free throw shooter. Want to make him go to the line rather than give him a dunk or layup. Because one of the things, if you're the Magic, you tell your team before the game, let's not let Michael dunk the ball. Let's not let Scottie Pippen dunk the ball. If they're going to make shots, let's make them come from the perimeter.
Chicago by 4. Bulls now lead 41-36, and this is their biggest lead of the day. Third of 4 meetings between these two teams. They'll meet again in Orlando, April the 7th. They split the previous two. Here's Shaquille O'Neal, led beautifully by Brian Shaw. And the Bulls now lead by 3. This is the first time this season that Shaquille has faced the Bulls. Beautiful slicing drive by Ron Harper. Bulls 43 and the Magic 38.
And Penny Hardaway looking around like saying, where is my help? But he opened up the gates.
Shaw. Once again, Shaquille able to play the double team effectively, but Shaw not able to convert. Here's Harper on the finger roll. And Wolf comes up with the ball. Brian Shaw with a change of pace dribble. Shaw for 3. And Kukoc with the box out. Tony Kukoc running the floor.
Scottie, Michael Jordan looking at Tony Kukoc like, where are you going? Give me the ball.
They double up on Kerr. Shot clock at 5. Kukoc for 3. Well, he hit his previous 3. And now Shaw pushes down. Wolf. And a loose ball foul. Tommy Nunez with the call against the Bulls. Steve Kerr arguing the call, as is Tony Kukoc. And it's called on Kukoc. 6:16 remaining in this first half. Here's Shaquille O'Neal with the stuff, led beautifully. Shaquille with 13 points. The Magic bench enjoying it.
Pushing camera 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this
roll
game.
Commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there. He's on Lucy.
What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal.
Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that?
He says there's nothing good on TV.
Testing the Eagle Vision today is Drill Sergeant Parker. Your men tell me you're a pretty tough guy to please.
Yes, sir.
Let's see if a few laps around the track can't make you more agreeable.
161 horses, 3.3-liter V6. It's one agile driving machine, son. How much?
Is that a smile I see on your face, Sarge?
I guess it is.
You just bought yourself 50 more laps, soldier. Let's go.
Lease Eagle Vision ESI now for only $257 a month.
I'm out here hitting the streets to find out what people like about Inside Stuff. What's the best thing about it?
I love rewind.
Highlights. The dunk. All the information about it. What do you like about Inside Stuff?
Jam session.
Jam session, my favorite part of the show.
Oh, I love Willow Bay, man.
What's the key to this show? Why is it so good?
You know why?
What? He's the best.
Hey, there you go.
NBA Inside Stuff is the coolest show on TV.
It's fact. You gotta watch it.
There you have it. NBA Inside Stuff. Get with the program. Watch the show.
She seduced her student to kill her husband.
I want him dead.
We shot it based on a true story, and Margaret.
She had something to do with this, and I know it.
Seduced by Madness, NBC tonight.
Chicago by 5, 6:16 left in the second quarter. The Orlando Magic got off to the hot start. They're trying to make it 7 wins in a row, and this team has really come on since the All-Star break.
I think a couple of close wins got it all started for them. The one in Miami and then winning a two-pointer in Indiana kind of buoyed their confidence. Had an easy win the other night in Milwaukee, but having to hear so much about the problems of winning on the road, to get 3 in a row, they got to feel much better coming into the United Center today.
And pass intended for O'Neal, and a foul on Longley, who just re-entered. He was holding Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, these are the kinds of fouls that Luke normally picks up early in the game, and he did. He hooked the left arm of Shaquille O'Neal and held him down right in front of the baseline official, Tommy Nunes.
Hardaway for 3. Looking for the screen, he found it, and then able to hit. So Hardaway has 12, the Bulls 43, and the Magic 41. Chicago at 48-6 with the best record in the NBA. The steal by Anderson, and Hardaway uncontested. So that ties the game at 43. At this point, Michael Jordan has not been himself. Goes last. 9 points for Jordan. He is a bit under the weather, and I would think he's trying to preserve it for a good finish down the stretch.
That's a good point, Mark, because Michael has pretty much conserved his energy all season long, saving it for late in the games when the Bulls really need him to turn it on.
Bulls have a 2-point lead as we come up on 5 minutes left in the half. Shot clock running down, and Wolf is able to hit. Joe Wolf, an excellent pickup by the Orlando Magic, a guy who's been around, signed as a free agent back in November. He's played for the Clippers, Denver, Boston, Portland, and Charlotte, and has emerged as a very popular player in Orlando.
Almost became a Chicago Bull with the 10th pick in the draft in which Chicago took Horace Grant.
Kept alive by Jordan and went to the fadeaway. Bulls 47, the Magic 45, so Michael has 11.
And Dennis Rodman barking at the officials. He felt he was held underneath the basket by Joe Wolf.
Shaquille O'Neal. And a foul is called. And you hear the reaction. Luke Longley debating the call with Ken Maurer.
Scottie Pippen for the Bulls replaces Kelly.
Well, the conversation continues. Luke looking for an explanation. That will put Shaquille O'Neal at the line where he is 1 for 4.
Well, we heard Bill Wennington talk about it earlier, about they feel that Shaquille O'Neal likes to dip that shoulder and burrow in to the big people. As that's what Luke Longley was talking to the officials about there. So Luke Longley is saying, hey, all I'm trying to do is protect myself. The big guy is coming hard at me.
Well, this is really embarrassing. 1 of 6 from the line. And Shaquille not taking any time between shots, just popping them up.
Well, his new thing now is to pick out a spot just over the front rim.
Shaw on the run, leading Hardaway. Penny Hardaway from Brian Shaw, and Hardaway with 16 points in this first half. Brian Shaw has done an excellent job. 4 assists. The game is tied at 47. Pippen blocked by O'Neal. Shaquille took it out of the hand of Pippen, and then the ball knocked away, knocked out of bounds.
Well, about 5 or 6 minutes ago, the interior defense of Orlando was very soft, and the Bulls felt they could get to the basket. But now with Horace Grant back into the ball game, he does a good job of solidifying the inside defense, and that's enabled Shaquille O'Neal to be able to move around more and take some gambles and block some shots.
That pass intended for Dennis Scott. That was out of the pages of your one-time teammate with Buffalo, Ernie DiGregorio, but a little high and wide by Penny. Ernie used to like to go cross-court from one side to the other.
And Dennis would have needed a trampoline to catch that. He claimed that he was being held down. Oh, we've seen some beautiful passing so far by Brian Shaw in this ballgame with 3 alley-oop passes.
3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the half. Scott blocking Hopper as Hopper got the step. And for Dennis Scott, his first foul.
His first penalty.
The Magic over the foul limit. So Ron Hopper to the line. He's 1 of 2 at the line. Chicago, not a good free throw shooting team. Not quite in the category of the Magic, but they're 15th in the league at 74%. Orlando is last at 69% at the line. We've talked about this in the past. Even when the Bulls won their 3 championships, they were not a sensational free throw shooting team, but the man who was usually at the line in important situations, Michael Jordan, is a terrific foul shooter. So it came down to Jordan most often.
And it's funny, Pippen is not a good free throw shooter in the regular season, just 66%, but in the playoffs, he raises it dramatically.
Here's O'Neal. Tough angle shot by Shaquille. Pippen for Hopper. Pippen banking Grant. Here's Pippen. And Rodman with the rebound. His 7th of the half. And then fires! And comes up short. Always surprising when he'll take the outside shot. And I think surprised his teammates.
The crowd loves it.
Good play by Pippen on the tip. Pippen for 3. And back comes Hardaway. Scott for Anderson. We come up on 2 minutes left in the first half. O'Neal pulling his way. Shaquille O'Neal, 7 of 11 from the field. He has 15. The Magic recapturing the lead. They're up by 1.
Well, that last fast break situation, it really wasn't a numbers advantage. It was 3-on-3, but a bad shot by Pippen. Not that he doesn't take that shot from time to time, but without Shaquille O'Neal back on defense, that's an opportunity to go to the basket.
Longley's pass was anticipated by Hardaway, and a foul is called. A minute 41 remaining. First half, timeout taken. Orlando by 1.
Jeep Grand Cherokee. Four-wheel and off-road's 4x4 of the year.
I just found a sale that's every girl's dream.
She must mean the National Hardware Sale at Sears.
For me, I can find tons of weekend accessories.
Like this Craftsman 84-piece mechanics tool set. Or this Craftsman 15-drawer chest and cabinet, just $199.97. The National Hardware Sale at Sears and Sears Hardware Store.
I'd go this weekend, but I'm going to be kind of busy.
It's Saturday afternoon, almost game time. The TV's on, your feet are up. You've got the remote control in one hand, a great tasting ice-cold Miller Lite in the other. And as you take that first ice-cold sip, there's only one way to describe it.
Do you remember when a basketball giant took the magic of the Olympics and showed the whole world how to share a dream? This summer, dreams take on a life of their own. Atlanta's Centennial Games on NBC.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll bring you Peter Bessie's visit with Patrick Ewing of the Knicks. Ewing sprained his ankle on Wednesday night, and his availability for Game 2 of our doubleheader against Phoenix is a game-time decision. Also at halftime, we'll hear from Julius Erving and Peter on the first half of the Magic and the Bulls. Orlando leads it by 1 in a good one as we send it back to the United Center. May I cough now? Yes. Marv, Matt, and Ahmad. Marvelous.
Thank you, Bob. I think a minute 41 left in this first half.
And a big reason why Shaq has problems from the line. The trajectory of his shot goes like this. Too much of a line drive instead of more of an arc. As Shaq not getting enough knee bend either, straight leg, and that's why he does not get enough trajectory.
I know when Shaquille played under you with the Orlando Magic, you brought in the shot doctor, Buzz Brayman, who is no longer with the Magic, now with the Washington Bullets coaching staff. What were you trying to do at that time, and what's the philosophy now with Shaquille at the line?
Well, a big thing that Buzz Brayman believes in is a pre-shot routine, and of course, how you grip the ball and your mechanics, but he had to try to break down Shaq and get rid of all the bad mechanics and all the bad habits. Now, of course, Buzzy's gone, and now Tom Sterner is trying a different approach with Shaq, and it's just going to take a lot of time. But until he starts bending those legs and gets the ball up in the air, he's never going to be a consistently decent foul shooter.
Jordan. Rodman with the tip. The basket counts and the foul. Foul committed by Horace Grant.
Well, Dennis Rodman always hanging around the basket, and as Shaq left to go double team, instead of getting, or not double team, but to try to block that shot, instead of getting the body on Rodman, that left the door wide open, and then Horace Grant coming in way too late.
And Rodman, only a 59% free throw shooter, able to hit 5 points, 8 rebounds for Rodman. And the game is tied at 51. Scott, who has been quiet in this first half, goes behind the back for O'Neal. Now Scott for 3. Here's Pippen for Jordan, who's hanging. Jordan on the outlet from Scottie Pippen. The Bulls by 2, and Jordan going for the steal, breaks it up.
In the first 2 Chicago-Orlando games, Michael Jordan had the task of trying to guard Penny Hardaway, as he does most times, trying to guard the point guard. Now in this game, he's guarding other people. It's Dennis Scott now, and Scottie Pippen has the job of looking and watching Hardaway.
And Hardaway with a spectacular first half, 18 points, 4 assists. O'Neal, and a pushing foul. Rodman involved with Grant.
Well, Michael Jordan coming down to double team on Shaquille O'Neal, coming off the shooter Dennis Scott, left him open for a wide open shot, and then gambled and released on the play and got away with it. I think the strategy coming in for Chicago was not to give Dennis Scott nor Nick Anderson any wide open looks on the 3, and they would live with Shaquille O'Neal shooting the jump hook and the little turnaround jumper.
Both teams are over the foul limit, but Grant not able to take advantage on his first attempt. Judd Bushler checking in for the first time. Ron Harper will sit down. Orlando is 4 of 10 at the foul line.
This is a 2-for-1 situation coming back the other way. Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson just finished talking it over. And normally they would like to take the shot here around 30 to 32 seconds and then try to give Orlando one possession and then Chicago get the last possession.
The Bulls have a 1-point lead. Here is Jordan getting up the quick shot. And rebounded by O'Neal. Wennington felt he tied him up, but a foul is called. And with Chicago over the limit, once again we will see Shaquille O'Neal go to the line.
Well, this is not the worst gamble in the world with Wennington trying to reach in. At first he had all ball, but once Shaq adjusted things, then the body contact came in. But with Shaq struggling so much from the foul line, just 1 for 6, probably a good percentage play by Chicago.
And line drives it again. Shaquille O'Neal had a 2 for 13 earlier this season. That is the worst free throw shooting performance of the year. 1 of 7 right here. And now line drives it home.
How that ever got over the rim, I do not know. There was no margin for error.
The game tied at 53, and now the Bulls will hold for a final shot for this first half. Jordan, did he lose it off his foot? He did. It's a backcourt violation. And the Magic will take over at midcourt.
Well, you just don't expect Michael Jordan to make these kinds of errors. It makes you think back to the end of Game 1 in the Eastern Conference semifinals when all Michael had to do was hold the ball with a 1-point lead and wait to get fouled. Dribbled the ball up, lost sight of Nick Anderson, who flicked that ball behind. This is a totally different situation in terms of importance, but just un-Jordan-esque type of play.
A memorable play for Nick Anderson and the Orlando Magic. They went on to win the series in 6. And now Hardaway had it knocked away. Jordan racing the clock. Anderson back. Jordan not able to hit. Basket won't count. Came after the horn. So Jordan in the race with Anderson tried to sweep it home, but could not convert. So at the half, it's the Bulls and the Magic tied at 53. Here's Jordan. Anderson cuts him off from the angle, and Jordan with the finger roll, but just off. 18 for Hardaway, 16 for O'Neal, 13 for Jordan. And the game is tied at halftime. We'll be back with Bob with a Prudential halftime report right after this.
Foot Locker's got a brand new shoe from Reebok, and it answers to the name Avant-Garde. It's about art,
but not the stuff in museums.
Avant-Garde is not about style. It's about substance.
About making a statement. It's about setting yourself apart.
By striving to stay a step ahead. Just like the place that has a pair of Reebok Avant-Gardes with your name on them. Get to Foot Locker
and stay ahead of the game.
Dave has a dilemma. What to put on Wendy's new bacon cheeseburger?
Dave, something mild. Play it safe. Come on, don't be a wimp. Give it some zing. Oh no, Gouda would be nice. Spice it up. How about pepper jack? Oh my.
Well, Dave started cooking. A quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, the perfect sauce, and a slice of pepper jack cheese for a bacon cheeseburger that's really spicy.
Oh, Dave, be careful. Mind your own business. Attaboy.
Wendy's new pepper jack bacon cheeseburger.
It's gotta be the cheese.
Without limits, that's the world that's coming. That's the world we want. And one company can help you put it all within your reach.
Now's a great time to be alive. The world is moving to a brilliant sun. Now is a great time for man, woman, child. I tell you children, I tell you something. Listen people, I tell you something. My human family, I tell you true.
It's all within your reach.
AT&T, that's your true choice.
Once again, Jeep Grand Cherokee has emerged as four-wheel and off-road magazine's 4x4 of the year.
Tonight, they've been trying to have a baby, but you won't believe the ancient rituals they stir up to get Jamie pregnant.
Did you follow the instructions?
Yes, cook it till food explodes.
All new Mad About You. Then, Bill's new girlfriend thinks he's British.
Hello, lovey.
And what's up with Mr. James? All new News Radio, NBC tonight.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
The Bulls and the Magic tied at the half at 53. The last basket didn't count, but the good news for Dennis Rodman, a tick before time expired. The last rebound did. That's what really matters to him. He's got 9 boards in the first half. Jordan leads the Bulls with 13 points. Shaq, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 18 points, 4 assists for Penny. Tied at 53. Sometimes you look forward to something. It turns out to be just as good as you had reason to expect. Some first half.
No question about it, Bob. You got a happy Dennis in the locker room at halftime, and this game has lived up to advanced billing. I think Orlando has shown, though, that they have the better starting 5. Things didn't change and go Chicago's way until Shaq went to the bench. Chicago's second team, particularly Kukoc, stepping up, filling a void for maybe a subpar Jordan. And then when Orlando returned with their starting 5, they seized the lead. Could have had it. Well, it is tied, so.
There it is.
Yeah, they did what they're supposed to do. They have the better starting 5.
53 apiece.
As great as Michael Jordan is, it's interesting. The word has it that Scottie Pippen is much easier to play with than Michael. And I think we saw a little bit of that today when Tony Kukoc hit 3 straight three-pointers from outside, and Michael's screaming at him for the ball. Tough guy to play with. He wants that. He wants this game badly.
Something else we might note, Luke Longley had 8 points in the first quarter. That was important for the Bulls. One other thing going on right now, actually there's more than one thing going on, but there's one other game in the NBA going on. It's Milwaukee at Washington. This one has the Bullets leading 56-46. Quick highlights. Rasheed Wallace here to Juwan Howard for the jam. Bullets went up 15-6 right out of the gate. Late in the first quarter, Bucks back to within 3. Robinson outletting to Newman, feeds Sherman Douglas for the reverse, and they cut it to 1, but then the Bullets able to pull ahead by 10 at the half, 56-46. Murison and Howard each with 12 for the Bullets. Vin Baker with 14 at the half for Milwaukee. Up next, Peter's conversation with the Knicks' Patrick Ewing after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
I am a grandfather that takes pleasure in doing anything I can for the kids. And they know it too. I've never been rich and never really wanted to be. I just feel you should live comfortably, but you don't need to be a fool about it. And I try to impart that to my grandchildren. And you got to have a goal and an aim in life in order to get anywhere.
Growing up, I was probably the biggest kid in my neighborhood. No, I was definitely the biggest. I don't remember exactly when I figured out it would be pretty easy to get my way. I think it was in 7th grade.
It's our ball. It's our ball.
But I decided then that I wasn't going to use my size.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Next one's ours.
I wanted to use my head, and I still do.
Following the Magic and the Bulls at about 3:30 Eastern Time, it's New York at Phoenix. Patrick Ewing still a major question mark for the Knicks. He sprained his ankle on Wednesday night and sat out Friday's loss to Atlanta. We'll find out just before game time if he's able to play today. But luckily he is able to speak, and he did so with Peter Vesey.
You were one of the few guys that stayed loyal to Pat Riley when he left to go to Miami. What did you like about playing with him? You obviously shared a great relationship.
I love Pat. You know, I enjoyed playing for him. I miss him today.
Why?
He's structured. He's disciplined. He's loyal. He knows, knows how to win. He's trying to get the best out of his players, and I just enjoyed playing for him.
Don Nelson treats you as one of the most important players, and Riley treated you as the most important player. Are you disappointed that you're not the focal point?
Well, I mean, win or lose, it's all gonna come here. I mean, if we win, it's going to come here. We lose, it's going to come right back here. No matter who the coach is, I'll be always the one who gets blamed.
You think so?
Yeah, it's always been that way. It's been that way for 11 years.
Why do you say that, Patrick? I don't see anybody blaming you for not winning. They blame the fact that this team doesn't have another scorer.
I think that it all comes back to the mountain, and I'm the mountain.
Pat, you've been pretty outspoken this year, much more blunt than I remember you in past years. You came into this season saying that when Don Nelson was talking about running, you said that's not going to work. You also said around Christmas time that you wanted the ball more down low versus out on the perimeter. Do you feel that you're being utilized correctly?
Don has made an effort to try to get me the ball more on the blocks. Even though I love to shoot my jump shot when I have it, I'm an inside player, and that's where I want the ball.
But I was surprised that you were so vocal about it. In past years, I would have thought you would have gone to the coach.
I told him what I felt, and then I was asked about it, and I gave my opinion. I mean, I've been in this league 11 years, and I'm gonna say what I feel, and that's what I felt.
2 years ago, you were real close. What's happened to this team other than the fact that they've gotten older in the last 2 years? I mean, you yourself said they needed a three-man who could shoot, to quote you.
That was early in the season.
Well?
I think that Mace is doing a tremendous job.
Now you're going to get diplomatic on me.
No, I'm not going to get diplomatic, but you have to give him credit. He's done a tremendous job. He's having an outstanding year.
Realistically, do you really think you can beat the Bulls?
Yeah.
They embarrassed you guys in your own building on national television.
Yes, they did. And, I spoke to Scottie about that because he was talking about that, this Madison Square Garden is their house now. So, I'll be ready for them, and I know my teammates will be ready for them the next time we play them.
This year, Jordan's back. The Eastern Conference was yours there for a couple years. Don't you feel that the window of opportunity has been slammed shut?
No, I don't think so. And I'll never, think that. I think I'm a competitor, and every time I go out on the court, I think that I'm going out there to win. And if I start thinking that, the doors, the opportunities closed, then I might as well just hang them up and just go on and retire. I still think that we can beat Chicago, beat Orlando, and win the championship.
Well, Doc, how realistic do you think Ewing's assessment of his team is?
Well, I tell you, Patrick's a great player, and he's probably going to be around another 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6 years. It's not unrealistic to think of a guy playing basketball for 16 seasons. So he's got to believe that his team has a chance, and he can't psychologically put himself at a disadvantage. Is it realistic to think that they're going to be better than the Bulls or Orlando in the playoffs? I don't think so, but Don Nelson has always been a great matchup player in the playoffs and can find a way to win some games, if not enough to upset a team who, they're favored against.
Well, let's face it, the two trades that they made didn't hurt their... Well, they might have helped their chances to win it a little bit, but they didn't have that good a chance to win it anyway. They gave up 3 guys who weren't playing and 1 guy who didn't make the play, Charles Smith. Charles wasn't getting it done in New York and wasn't going to get it done in New York. The fans were all over him, and it was a great relief to get out of here and go to San Antonio.
But what all these deals did, depending upon how they play it, it freed up as much as $9 million under the salary cap. And now we hear talk of people like Alonzo Mourning, maybe Tim Hardaway, Juwan Howard, Reggie Miller, all being eyed by the Knicks, potentially.
Well, as long as we're talking, Bob, my feeling is that they have a chance to go out and get Michael Jordan. And the reason being is that if Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, does not give Jordan what he wants, if he considers it an insult, I think Jordan will make Reinsdorf pay one way or the other. And the best way to make him pay would be to come to New York for less money. And I've thrown that by Jerry Reinsdorf, and he says he doesn't really think that Michael's that kind of a guy, that he would be that vindictive. But I think there's a tremendous ego right here, and Michael just might do that.
But it has to be for much less money, because only a guy's present team can pay him over and above what the salary cap allows. And David Falk, Michael's agent's been talking about $25 million. Only Chicago can pay him that. So if he wants to do it out of spite, he'd have to take like half as much from somebody else.
If you start at $9 million, you can take a 30% hike each year. You can get up pretty high in a 3-year contract. Obviously, he'd have to take less. But again, if he feels insulted, he has enough money from outside interest. He can come to New York and make Reinsdorf pay big time.
I would imagine he has enough money from outside interests. Late word from Don Nelson, by the way. He says he doubts that Patrick Ewing will start today in Phoenix, but there is a chance he could come off the bench and play. The Bulls and the Magic all tied at 53. We'll send it back to Marv, Matt, and Ahmad for the second half after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
Two teenage boys were bound over for trial Tuesday on charges that they killed a man after being offered cash by the victim's estranged wife.
Stay cool. Keep your mouth shut.
Kids talk. Anne Margaret, Christian Campbell, and Freddie Rodriguez.
What if she blows the whistle on us?
We can't be seen together. Would two boys murder for their teacher?
What do you think?
Seduced by Madness, NBC tonight.
Sometimes Ruggles thinks he's invincible, but the Invincible collection from Bigelow really is. Watch this. I rubbed the exact same soil into both carpet samples. Yet look at the difference. There's no comparison. And the stain resistance is even more dramatic. That's why Bigelow guarantees it for a full 10 years. The Fruit Punch stains ordinary carpet, and it lifts right off the Invincible. Right now, for every yard of Bigelow you buy, you get a second yard free. Come to the Big Bigelow sale today at your Carpet One Center.
Every day in Topeka, our firefighters work to protect our community, our homes, our lives. But in February, they do even more. They work to help feed the hungry through Project Topeka.
You can help your community this month by bringing non-perishable food items to any Topeka fire station. Remember, someone in Topeka will go to bed hungry tonight.
You can make a difference. Support Project Topeka.
The 27 News Team, tonight at 10.
This is the NBA on NBC. The Game of the Week.
Welcome back to the United Center in Chicago. The Magic and the Bulls tied at 53. Marv Albert, Matt Kukoc, and Ahmad Rashad. Let's go to Ahmad with Orlando coach Brian Hill.
All right, thanks, Mark. Brian, a very strange kind of game, almost like you guys are feeling each other out the first half.
It's kind of like two heavyweight fighters out there, just throwing a lot of jabs at each other right now. But I think you'll see the intensity pick up a lot in the second half. And so far, it's been a good game, but it's going to come down to these last two quarters.
Any surprises, like the strategy to not double-team Shaquille?
No, I kind of expected that. I thought Phil wouldn't want Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott to get off on the perimeter, and they'd take their chances with Shaquille inside and fouling him and put him on the line. And that's the one thing we're going to have to do in the second half. We're going to have to get to the line and make those free throws.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad. Brian going out on a limb saying it's going to come down to the next two quarters. Did you speak like that as a coach?
Always.
I would think, though, Phil Jackson has to be pleased with what took place in the first half. Orlando shooting 58% and yet involved in a tie game.
I think also Phil is pleased that his two centers are not in foul trouble. And Brian Hill, I'm sure, remind his team of how the Bulls like to pick up the defensive intensity at the beginning of this third quarter.
All right, a look at the Miller Lite halftime statistics. Orlando on fire in that first half, particularly the first quarter. They finished 22 of 38 for the half. Chicago 21 of 44 at 48%. Michael Jordan not feeling well today with a touch of the flu. 5 of 12 for 13 points. Check out the free throw shooting. Orlando 6 of 13 at the line. Chicago 5 of 7. And Shaquille O'Neal, although with 16 points, only 2 of 8 from the foul line. So Orlando and Chicago tied at 53. We'll be right back.
Lower your right foot and repeat after me. I promise to be free. I promise to be different. I promise to take the other path. I promise to be unique. I promise to drive an Eldorado with a 300 horsepower North Star V8, a suspension that reads faster than Evelyn Wood, and a body that parts traffic. Eldorado with the North Star system by Cadillac.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come. will tell on you.
So you do this every day, huh? Poor baby. And this is a guy thing, right? That's not so bad. You guys are so sensitive. Ouch.
For the man with sensitive skin, Shaq introduces the all-new Tracer FX.
Is this the sensitive part? Right here?
With its unique skin guard designed for a smooth shave with less irritation. The shaving system for sensitive skin. Shaq Tracer FX.
The sensitive type? I like that.
Next Saturday, Olympic hopefuls Dan O'Brien and Mary Ellen Clark are profiled on Atlanta 1996. Then Carl Lewis and Michael Johnson go for a national title in the Powerade Indoor Track and Field Series. Plus, America's 5-time Olympic medalist Shannon Miller and 14-year-old American phenom Dominique Moceanu lead the field at the McDonald's American Cup next Saturday on NBC.
The 48-6 Chicago Bulls with the best record in the NBA going up against the team with the second-best record in the East, the Orlando Magic, at 40-14 as we get set for the start of play in the third quarter. Penny Hardaway with 18 points on 7 of 10 from the field in his 20 minutes. Shaquille O'Neal with 16 points, 7 of 12 from the field. While the Chicago Bulls with only Michael Jordan in double figures. He played 20 minutes, 5 for 12, hit 1 from downtown, 13 points, 9 apiece for Pippen and Kukoc. Tony Kukoc in the 2 previous games played well against the Orlando Magic. Longley with Rodman and Pippen up front, Hopper and Jordan at the guards. And Jordan set up for the jump shot. Rebound handled by Longley, looking for position. And deflected out by the Magic.
Well, Luke was in all kinds of traffic there, but this is where I think the Bulls would like to see him. And now he doesn't have an explosive leaping ability by any means, but to go up a little bit stronger there and try to either draw the foul or dunk the ball and start instead of trying to just lay it up.
Dennis Scott trying to stay with Michael Jordan, then Shaquille O'Neal over to help. Here's Jordan splitting through and giving it up to Pippen for 3. Back tap by Jordan. Hopper with the open 3. Pippen with the tip. Rodman stopped from behind by Grant. Several opportunities for the Bulls, and they will maintain possession. It was last touched by Grant.
Well, just as you'd expect, Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant hustling all over the place, going for this loose ball, but it'll stay Chicago's ball. Dennis Rodman with 6 offensive rebounds in that first half. The Bulls had 8, but they only turned it into 8 points, so the Bulls not really taking advantage of their offensive rebounding.
And as Longley takes the entry pass, we get a whistle for a 3-second violation.
Now, Dennis Rodman always on the weak side of the ball, trying to get away with as much as he can in preparation to get offensive rebounding position. It's interesting watching Tommy Nunes trying to put up a 9 and a 1. He had to take the whistle out of his mouth. It's a tough number to call.
And you enjoyed it.
Yes.
There's a long possession for the Bulls. Nearly a minute of this third quarter before Orlando got the ball. Pippen for Hopper. Pippen on the steal, taking from Scott and firing. A 3 for Scottie Pippen. He has 12, and the Bulls lead 56-53.
This is the aggressiveness that you expect from the Chicago Bulls at the beginning of the third quarter when wide left. When Horace Grant was here all those years with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and including the 3 championship years, Horace Grant really set the tone in the backcourt defensively for Chicago by double teaming, putting pressure on, and still being able to get back to his man.
Hardaway knocked it away. He wanted a push-out called on Pippen. Pippen. And O'Neal able to protect as Jordan was looking to bat it away. Chicago won for its first 8 from the field in this third quarter, but they lead by 3. O'Neal backing for the baby hook. Rebounded by Rodman. Jordan accelerates and goes all the way to knock Kukoc. Here's Grant on the run. Rodman back. Hardaway for 3. And Rodman able to one-hand for his 13th rebound.
So quick, so active, just reacts to the basketball better than anybody else in the league. Dennis Rodman.
Crowd urging Longley to shoot, and perhaps they would change their mind on that shot.
Not a good one, way outside Luke Longley's range. Michael Jordan putting it into a little bit of an extra gear, just not getting enough lift to either dunk that ball or get a clean look at it.
And the Bulls are now 1 for 10 in this third quarter. Illegal defense, the call. So that is the warning.
And Dennis Rodman starting to come down almost on instinct to double team. He's telling the official that there was a little bit of a pump fake there, but he was caught in the middle and really didn't know where to go. So far, though, Shaq kind of read the non-double team well in the first quarter, not so much here in the third.
Anderson trying to take advantage of the overplay by Jordan. Pippen for three, way off.
Even Dennis Rodman couldn't read how that one was going to come off. He usually reads shots very well. That was too hard of a break.
And both clubs struggling here at the start of the third. That's a three-point attempt by Scott. And Jordan able to come up with a magic 0 for 6 from the field in the third. And Harper fouled by Anderson. But after the good shooting first half, here in the third quarter, a different story. Timeout is called. 8:12 left in the third.
The Dream Team, coming this summer on NBC.
He said he wants more control. Oh boy. Told me he's looking for faster response and more security.
Then he's leaving the firm?
No. He's getting a Cadillac DeVille.
Now DeVille is better than ever because now it has the North Star system and its extraordinary combination of comfort, safety, security, and performance. Nothing else feels like DeVille from Cadillac.
I suppose he'll want a better parking space, too.
Blizzard was the worst at 5.
For a limited time, get McDonald's double cheeseburger for just 89 cents.
I'll do anything.
There's nothing in the world that I won't do what I have to do just to get to you.
Get to Mickey D's and get a beefy double cheeseburger or a morning fresh sausage biscuit with egg, only 89 cents each.
I'll do anything.
Double cheeseburger, please.
For here or to go, sir?
Have you had your break today?
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealers. By McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today? And by the new Schick Tracer FX, designed for sensitive skin.
Well, both teams hope to settle down here in the third. They have combined for 1 out of 17 from the field. This after the good shooting first half. The Bulls with a 56-53 lead with 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Orlando is the last team to defeat the Bulls here in Chicago in the regular season. Last March the 24th. They did it 106-99, and they did win here in the playoffs against the Bulls. And Chicago, as Jordan unleashes and hits to extend to a 5-point lead. Chicago's had only 2 close calls at home this season. 4-point win over Portland in November and a 2-pointer over Atlanta on December the 30th. Otherwise, they have been in command, and they are undefeated here at home. They have gone 24-0. Shaquille O'Neal And a loose ball foul is called as Scottie Pippen picks up his third.
Well, the Bulls looking for some semblance of order here. Came out of the timeout running their triangle offense. Got a nice little screen from Dennis Rodman for the jump shot. The Magic now going to try to look to get Shaq on the move off some screens into the post-up area, and they do it right there.
And it means Shaquille goes back to the line. Longley called for his third. So 3 on Longley, 1 on Weddington. James Edwards, who we saw last week against the Indiana Pacers, is back on the injured list. So the Bulls are going with the 2-center combination. And Orlando's still looking for its first point of this third quarter, outscored 5-0. Matt, earlier I said Orlando at 69% at the line had the worst free throw shooting record in the league. It's actually Portland at 64, and Orlando at 69 is second worst. Shaquille is now 3 of 10 at the foul line. First point for the Magic in this third quarter. The Bulls lead by 4. Rodman for Longley is a bit high.
Into his hands. Hit him in that bad spot. But then Luke Longley just cannot stay in the air that long. I thought it was a pretty decent pass, but a tough one for Longley to catch.
And O'Neal fouled by Longley.
Dennis Rodman probably doesn't get enough credit for some of the things that he can do at the offensive end of the floor. First of all, he runs the offense well, sets good screens, and actually this was a good pass right there for Luke Longley.
You're right.
He just could not get up in the air long enough, and now Luke Longley, who can pick up those fouls in bunches, now has 4. As Shaq knows no double team is coming, he's going to challenge Luke Longley, and now it'll be Bill Weddington.
So Longley sitting down after collecting his 4th foul. He's with 8 points, all in the first quarter. And Bill Weddington checks in. Shaquille now on fire. 4 of 11 after going 1 for his first 7. We've seen this before. He'll pick it up after having trouble at the line in the early going. Bulls 58, the Magic 56 with 5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Hardaway guarding Jordan. Weddington with the pick. Jordan going left. Good stuff. And that gets the crowd going. Bulls by 4. Nice pass, Grant, returning the favor off the lead from O'Neal.
And now the strategy looks with Bill Weddington in the game that the Bulls will now come down and double team. And Horace Grant, who's been shooting the ball so well from the top of the key, just saw wide open spaces to the basket. Good pass, cut, and catch.
Hopper banks it home off the setup by virtue of the weave. And the Bulls now lead 62-58. Hopper has 9 points along with 4 assists. Things beginning to pick up now midway through the third quarter. Scott delivers to O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal has 21. The Bulls 62 and the Magic 60. We have been close right throughout. Pippen saving that alley-oop. And they work it back around. Weddington just did get it to Pippen in the corner. 3-point attempt. What a play by Dennis Rodman. Scott avoiding Pippen. And a Scott not able to get going. Now 1 of 5 from the field. Here's Hopper for Pippen. Scottie Pippen too strong. Scott with the save. Bulls by 4 as we approach 5 minutes left in the third. Grant wide open. And Jordan, in deliberate fashion, moves it down.
Well, both teams going up and down there for a while. Michael taking a little bit of time here as neither side has good transition defense. There are a lot of open shots out there. I'm a little surprised Michael slowed it down to that degree.
Foul committed by Dennis Scott, his second. Second team foul committed by the Magic. Again, Pippen is open. Scottie Pippen is now only 5 of 16. And Dick Bavetta calling the foul on Dennis Rodman. Not been overly aggressive in hounding defending O'Neal.
Well, this is normally when Dennis Rodman tries to entice somebody to throw an elbow at him, and faking there by putting the head back. I think Dick Pavetta had to call right.
Nice spin. O'Neal is fouled. The basket counts, and Shaquille will go to the line. Foul committed by Wennington.
The Bulls personal foul by Wennington. His second.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal getting good position here, and Bill Wennington opening up the baseline, which is something he said yesterday he was going to do. Try to keep him out of the middle, but when the double team is going to come from the foul line area, there's no way that any double team can get there. The only way you could get double team help is come along the baseline, and the Bulls are just not geared to do that right now.
So Shaquille is 5 of 13 from the line. He has 23 points, 11 rebounds. Jordan for Harper, and he fired. Harper with a line drive. So the Bulls now lead 67-62. Scott played very tough by the combination of Harper and Jordan. It will be Orlando ball. They have 10 on the 24.
Dennis Scott really forcing the action there, sensing that he was coming out of the ball game. Dennis is a much improved player, putting the ball on the floor either in isolation or in the post position, not just a three-point shooter. And the Magic often go to him as a first option type player, but Dennis Scott having a tough time getting involved in this ball game.
Dennis averaging 19 points per game, only 1 of 5 here this afternoon. Shot clock at 5. Down to 3, 2, 1. Shaw just did get it off and kept alive by O'Neal. Hardaway. Offensive foul. Penny Hardaway called for a second, and now being ushered aside by Shaquille O'Neal as he had something to say to Dick Pavetta.
Well, Penny Hardaway thinking he had an opening here, seeing that his lane was blocked off to the basket, just trying to draw contact. And when Shaq was out of the lineup, this is why Penny Hardaway was getting to the free throw line a lot by forcing the action like that, but that was a charge.
Wennington gets it back and takes it to the hoop. That's his second field goal. And the Bulls open up a 7-point lead. It's their biggest lead of the game. Here's help from Rodman. Couldn't get over though. And Shaquille is now 10 of 16 from the field. He has 25 points. The Bulls lead 69-64. 3:05 left in the third. Clear out for Jordan. Good play by Shaw, not allowing the shot. Here's Kerr, who just came on. Shot clock down to 3. Wennington. Rodman on the follow, stopped by O'Neal. And Pippen intercept. He has Jordan. Pippen with the ball fake. Jordan with the tip. O'Neal calling for time. Terrific play by Shaquille O'Neal on the save. And he called for time. 2:39 remaining in this third quarter. The Bulls by 5. Here's Shaquille with the heads-up play.
No one can save you now.
Hey, bet we could.
Fools, we will defeat you and take your Miller Lite. Not if we choose the weapon. Paper football, very clever. You kick off.
It's good. We are saved.
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. You are worthy opponents. Let us celebrate. I know a good sports bar around the corner. Life is good.
In searching for a luxury performance sedan, Michael Young tested the Oldsmobile LSS against 3 of the fastest Japan has to offer: the Infiniti J30, Lexus ES300, and teppanyaki chef Yasu Norimoto. And while his 240 horsepower LSS was no match for Yasu's speed, not only did Mr. Young fare much better against the imports, he had them for lunch. Will the LSS pass your test?
To me, it's about people.
I'm going to call them right now.
It's being part of what they're going through and helping them to get through it. And seeing people at their best and yet seeing people at what probably is for them their worst and getting them through it. When you truly have a passion, whether it be for helping people or to get them through something, then that's what you need to follow. That's what you really need to follow.
Being in good hands is the only place to be.
Tuesday on an all-new Wings, she's back. It's Psycho Sandy.
Oh, Joey Bear, we're pregnant.
Hey, this is a whole new level of...
Nah, she's after Brian. Then it's an all-new Third Rock from the Sun with special guest star Frasier's John Mahoney. Oh. Followed by an all-new Frasier, NBC Tuesday.
Ahmad Rashad back at the United Center, and seconds ago, Ron Harper guarding Dennis Scott. Dennis Scott on the move, catches Ron Harper right on the hip, which results in a hip corner for Ron Harper. He comes over, Chip Shaper puts ice on it, and he should be available. They wrap the ice on the hip, and he should be available further on in the game, Mark.
All right, Ahmad. Tony Kukoc has checked in. Tony Kukoc was a major weapon for the Bulls in the first half. 8 minutes and 3 of 5, all 3 3-pointers. Bulls lead 69-64 with 2.5 to go in the third quarter. Grant being guarded by Kukoc. They double up on Hardaway. Shaw. And Jordan able to sweep it over to Kerr. Orlando 4 of 16 from the field here in the third. Jordan trying to post up Anderson. Jordan blocked by Anderson and taken by Grant. Michael is now 7 of 17. He has 17 points. Anderson now posting up Jordan. Hardaway.
Anderson one.
That was an air ball, still alive. Shot clock at 6. Shaquille O'Neal bailing out the Magic on that possession, and the Bulls lead by 3.
It's amazing how good Shaq's shot looks from the field. Now we're talking about 10 to 12-foot little jump shots, and then of course so poorly from the free throw line. It's a shame he just cannot translate the two.
Shaq has Orlando's 11 of their 13 points in this third quarter. Wennington way off. O'Neal was down court with Steve Kerr, and there was no question about that sequence. Good luck, though, by the Magic, and the Bulls now lead by 1. Scottie Pippen has been off. Here's Pippen. Gives it back. Jordan. And the Bulls now lead 71 to 68. Scottie Pippen is 1 for his last 11.
And he may be a little bit tired. He's doing a very good defensive job on Hardaway so far in this third quarter.
Hardaway.
Until then.
Got the friendly roll. Hardaway has 20 points, but that's his first field goal in the 30 at 18 at the half. Nice pass from Kukoc. It counts. Wennington from Kukoc. And Wennington will go to the line. The foul committed by O'Neal.
Well, the waiter, Tony Kukoc, serving one up for Bill Wennington, who no doubt felt and heard the footsteps of Shaquille O'Neal from behind and does a nice job of avoiding the big fella to take it to the other side of the rim. Nifty move by Bill Wennington.
Bill Wennington in his 9th year out of St. John, spent 5 years with Dallas, then on to Sacramento, a couple of years in Italy. Signing with the Bulls as a free agent. Second year with Chicago. Shaw handling against Kerr. Final seconds of the third. Shaw for O'Neal. Bulls have a shot at it. Kukoc for Kerr. With time running out. After 3 at the United Center. The Bulls 74 and the Magic 70. Shaquille, despite the troubles at the line, has had a terrific offensive performance. 29 points, 13 rebounds. He scored 13 of Orlando's 17 points in the third. We'll be back after this and a word from your local station.
In shopping for a luxury performance sedan, Jay Kerness tested the Oldsmobile LSS against the fastest, most nimble machine on Earth, Juma, the Cheetah. The LSS's sport suspension and traction control attacked the course, as did the Cheetah. But while he considered the LSS's precise handling quite impressive, there was one thing he failed to consider. Cheetahs are very sore losers. Will the LSS pass your test?
Nice kitty. Go away.
You know, I've heard a lot of motivational speeches in my life, but nothing quite like this. Make a career of humanity, and you will make a greater person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in. These are the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose accomplishments are an inspiration to us all.
Dateline NBC, coming to Sundays beginning March 17th.
Good boys play with toy trucks.
Bad boys play with monster trucks.
Good boys play with toy jets.
Bad boys play with real jets.
Now you be a good boy.
And go watch the bad boys run.
It's the first time ever.
The U.S. Hot Rod International.
It's this Friday and Saturday. Atlantic Arena with
monster trucks,
Megasaurus, and more. All seats are just $10.50. That's right, $10.50.
So come watch the bad boys run.
Atlantic Arena.
Sometimes Ruggles thinks he's invincible, but the Invincible Collection from Bigelow really is. Watch this. I rubbed the exact same soil into both carpet samples. Yet look at the difference. There's no comparison. And the stain resistance is even more dramatic. That's why Bigelow guarantees it for a full 10 years. The Fruit Punch stains ordinary carpet, and it lifts right off the Invincible. Right now, for every yard of Bigelow you buy, you get a second yard free. Come to the Big Bigelow sale today at your Carpet One Center.
The George Michael Sports Machine, tonight at 10:30 on Channel 27.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Well, with Michael Jordan making his return late last season, this year Michael's been very careful in deferring to Scottie Pippen. He has even said this earlier in the year that this is Scottie Pippen's team. We talked about that with Scottie.
We both share that leadership role, and I think the team responds and looked up to both of us as star players in his team. But I don't want to take the role as being the leader. I think Mike has carried this franchise a long way. In my eyes, he'll always be a leader of this team.
Well, that year and a half that Michael Jordan was trying to play baseball was a very difficult time for Scottie Pippen. A lot of negative things happened in that time, but also I think it helped Pippen grow up, not only as a basketball player, as a person, but I think he can talk about leadership and co-leadership. It makes it a lot easier when you're 48-6.
Yes. Chicago Bulls also trying to make it 25-0 here at home, and they get it back on the turnover as this fourth quarter gets underway. A poor shooting third quarter for both teams. Orlando 7 for 21. It was all Shaquille in the third, and Chicago 9 of 30. A lot of shots for the Bulls. 30 attempts. Kukoc being guarded up high by Kukoc. Kukoc going glass. A tough matchup for John Kukoc going against the mobile Tony Kukoc. Bulls by 6. They've led by as many as 7. It's been close throughout. At one point, Orlando led by 7. Hardaway posting up. Penny Hardaway has 22, and it's Chicago by 4.
Well, when Shaq is out of the game, Penny Hardaway becomes the go-to guy. And if you don't double team him, that's what he'll do. He'll take you right to the rim as he did to Ron Harper.
Ron Harper is back. You saw the ice being applied to the hips just moments ago. Three. That's his fourth from downtown. He has 14 points, and the Bulls lead by 7. There's Grant. Horace Grant. 5 of 6 from the field. He has 11 points. 79-74, Chicago. Tony Kukoc off the bench again to light it up. And the Bulls now lead 82-74. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Here is Grant from deep. Horace Grant shooting well.
Well, Tony Kukoc shoots just 31% from beyond the arc. Feeling it here today. Normally he does a lot of his damage taking the ball to the basket, and a strong post player as well.
Kukoc for three. Downtown and hearing it from the crowd. Standing ovation for Tony Kukoc. 6 of 7 from three-point range, and he's opened up a 9-point lead. Tony Kukoc overall is hit 7 of 8 from the field. Doing it from all angles, doing it without hesitation, which has not pleased Brian Hill.
Charles Barkley and the Suns host the New York Knicks next on NBC.
Whoa, check it out. Yeah, the new Jet Ski 1100 ZXi watercraft. The best from 95's Watercraft of the Year. Plus more power, auto trim, radical carving, and Kawasaki's air induction system hull for better acceleration, higher performance. Cool. I want it. I want it. I want it.
Ask your participating dealer about no money down and no payments or interest for a limited time, now through March 31st.
6 men have 3 hours.
You don't believe me. What are you doing up here? Who else is going to do it? You?
To board and rescue Flight 343 5 miles above the Earth, because on March 15th, it's coming down.
You have your orders. Execute them.
One way or another. Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal.
We're not going to make it! You are!
Executive Decision. Rated R. Starts Friday, March 15th at a theater near you.
Less than a minute. 16 down. This one is over.
Hey, it ain't over until the fat lady sings.
Hey, wait a minute. That's Larry Bird.
Don't believe it. Believe it.
Can't bring it. Bird is in. Bird for 3. Bird dunks.
Bird dunks?
Of course, he's in the zone. What a comeback.
When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
Oh, cue that fat lady. No, 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 no.
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
Today's Miller Moment features the dynamic duos of the NBA. Last week, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, each scored over 40 points in the Chicago victory over Indiana. The last time two teammates did that was in the 1995 playoffs. Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. The Rockets pulled it off against the Utah Jazz. Drexler with 41, Olajuwon with 40. In recognition of that moment, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And this crowd very much back into it, ignited by the long-range shooting of Tony Kukoc. Kukoc with a career high, hitting his 6th three-pointer. 6 of 7 from downtown. Rodman to the ball. Rebound number 16 for Dennis Rodman. The Bulls by 9, 3 minutes in. Fourth quarter. Longley, who came on for Weddington a moment ago, has the hook shot blocked by O'Neal and picked off the floor by Grant. Here's Anderson. Slows it down with Rodman and Kukoc back.
You got to be a little surprised why the Bulls did not once again really give Kukoc a long look, as Nick Anderson nails one for 3.
Nick Anderson has been very quiet. See the hobble by Shaquille O'Neal. Anderson only 3 of 5 from long range. Kukoc with a rare miss. 85-79 Bulls. With 8.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Scott. And again the rebound handled by Rodman. Here's Kukoc. Pulls it back and then makes the move on Shaw. Won't get the call on on the continuation.
Oh, beautiful move by Tony Kukoc, as it looked like the defense of Brian Shaw and Dennis Scott had him sealed off to stop him. Just a little hesitation and then a change of pace, and would have gone by Brian Shaw. He knew he was caught and just grabbed on and held.
Crowd reacting to Dennis Rodman. He'll sit down. Rodman replaced by Pippen. Kukoc. Pippen eluding Shaw. Scottie Pippen having his difficulties, coming off a 4 of 18 against Miami. He's 5 of 18 here today. O'Neal's pass off the mark.
And the Magic have had a number of errant passes like that. Normally you would attribute them to the tenacious defense of the Chicago Bulls, who are very active with their hands, but I think most of these turnovers have really been of the careless variety.
Kukoc had a notion. Longley goes to the hook, using the big body on Shaquille O'Neal. Luke Longley, who is 7'2", 265 pounds. With his 5th field goal, he has 10. His first bucket since the first quarter. Good ball movement by the Magic. Grant. Longley with the rebound, looking for help. 8-point Chicago lead. Here's Pippen. Kukoc gives it back. Longley. Well, the Bulls are doing it without getting the spectacular performances from Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Doing it with penetration, good ball movement, and crisp passing, making the Magic defense collapse and getting wide open shots.
It'll be Chicago ball.
Okay, the penetration by the Chicago Bulls, getting into the lane and making the Magic defense react. Kukoc sealed off, but finds the wide open Luke Longley, who has all kinds of time to nail the jump shot.
It was about innovation. It was about elegance. It was about convenience. It was about service. It was about dependability. It still is. The employee owners of TWA. We're up to something good in Europe and our over 80 destinations around the world.
To play for a team in the NBA, taking it downtown, crashing the boards. With DirecTV's NBA Team Pass, at least I can follow any team. Or I can give it the full court press, NBA League Pass. Every team, the Magic, Knicks, Rockets, Suns, up to 30 great matchups every week. Yeah, I could be out there with those guys. Really, I could. You won't find the NBA like this on cable, so call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Are you ready? Let's go. Get out and play. Give whatever you've got. You like that? Gatorade. Good. Gatorade. You're gonna get thirsty. Gatorade. Drink it out. Drink it out. Gatorade. Life is a sport. Tough day. Drink it up.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Wendy's. What makes Wendy's new Pepper Jack Bacon Cheeseburger so spicy? It's gotta be the cheese. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Red Dog Beer. Bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog.
Back in Chicago, well, Bill Murray making it from the golf course at the LA Open to our NBC cameras. The man is everywhere. Nice job. Looking a little puzzled, though. And Gene Sisco with the emphatic thumbs down. 6.5 remaining. in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Ahmad Rashad with the Bulls by 10 over the Magic. Tony Kukoc helping to open it up, putting on a shooting display. 7 of 10 from the field, 6 3-pointers. That is a career high. The most this season from three-point range. George McLeod of Dallas hit 10 in one game. Pippen is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Well, the Magic going to a very small lineup right now. No big forward out on the floor. 4 guards and Shaquille O'Neal. As the Bulls have really run their offense very well in this second half, and I'm surprised Scottie Pippen has not done more of that, either posting up or cutting through the lane, because his perimeter shot has been way off this afternoon.
You know, Tony Kukoc says that he and Scottie Pippen have an understanding when they face each other in the Summer Olympics in Atlanta. Kukoc said Pippen already said he's not going to play any defense against him when the U.S. goes up against Croatia, which would be a little bit different than what took place in Barcelona. Kukoc is native of Croatia, has been placed in the same group with the United States for the competition this summer. That means Bulls teammate Scottie Pippen will be among Tony Kukoc's opponents. Looking for position on Luke Longley. Shot clock at 5. Swinging jump shot by Shaquille. Rebounded by a soaring Michael Jordan.
Well, both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen do an excellent job of rebounding, especially when Rodman's out.
Hits the 3. And the Bulls are doing it with 3-pointers. They're up now by 15. They're 12 of 25 from downtown.
Help! They're in your town.
Help!
They're your neighbors. Help! They're your family. Help! They were once just like you, but now they need to fix their out-of-warranty electronics. And they're desperate. Well, they've come to the right place.
Help!
Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
Eight-time gold medalist Carl Lewis, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and Michael Johnson try for a national title in the Powerade Indoor Track and Field Series next Saturday on NBC. Coming up next, the incomparable Charles Barkley leads the Phoenix Suns as they host the always tough New York Knicks. Next on the NBA on NBC.
Well, the Chicago Bulls trying to make it a record of 49-6 as they gun for 70. That is the magic number. The 1972 Los Angeles Lakers went 69-13. The Lakers of Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry Weston, Gail Goodrich. The 67 Philadelphia 76ers at 68-13. Now, Matt, they would have to finish at least 22-6. You look at the schedule for Phil Jackson's club, and it's very much in sight. 12 of the next 16 games are at home, and it is a favorable schedule if there is such a word. We saw what happened the other night in Miami, where a Miami team with only 8 players dressed was able to catch the Bulls one of those nights, and they beat them.
Yeah, but when most of your games are on your home floor, you're not even going to have to play your best basketball against those types of teams, so they should fatten up in the next few weeks.
Hardaway not able to hit, rebound guarded by Longley, and the outlet pass deflected out by Hardaway, who does not like the call again. A 15-point Chicago lead as we come up on 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Longley. Anderson trying to get him to Shaw, but knocked it out of bounds.
Well, when the Bulls execute their offense, a lot of times it looks like they're just passing the ball around the perimeter, not getting anything done. The first thing they're trying to do is make the defense of the Magic shift, and that's when they get little openings into the lane and get good shots.
Chicago has outscored Orlando 41-26 in the second half. And they have not done it with the usual big guns. That man has done it. Tony Kukoc off the bench. He now has 22. And the Bulls lead by 17.
Well, Penny Hardaway had a terrific first half, never got anything going here in the second half, and you have to give a lot of credit to Scottie Pippen for that. I guess the blame has to go to the Magic a little bit for not going to him a little bit more and getting him involved. He was the one guy drawing a double team that could have gotten three-point shooters like Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott open.
Longley, Kerr, shot clock at 5. Trapped and was pushed. Horace Grant reporting back. Replacing Dennis Scott.
Well, I hate that when that happens. When Shaq hits you in the back of the head trying to steal the ball. Mistook Steve Kerr's head. There's a headache for tonight.
Oh, yes. And third foul collected by Shaquille O'Neal. Jordan with the change of pace. Shaw stays right with him and is called for a hold. That is number 4 on Shaw and the 4th team foul committed by Orlando.
A quiet but effective performance by Michael Jordan. No doubt bothered by some kind of flu symptoms. Never really got the high flying act together, but has played solid basketball. Not so much offensively, but defensively and on the boards.
Curl for 3. The tip by Longley, and back comes Anderson. They double up on Shaquille. Jordan looking for the steal, and then a foul call. Michael Jordan appealing the call with Dick Pavetta, who always enjoys these kinds of discussions. Longley is hit with a foul. 2. And the Bulls with their first team foul. Tony Kukoc with 22 points to tie a season high. Hardaway gets inside. 24 for Hardaway. Kukoc 8 of 11, including 6 3-pointers. And it makes you wonder, and I'm certain it makes Tony Kukoc wonder, if only he got the playing time. So difficult with the Chicago Bulls' talent and with their scheme.
Well, of course, he still is a little upset that he doesn't start.
Jordan will go to the line.
But he is a very valuable sixth man to this Bulls team, and if they are going to do any business in the Eastern Conference and get through and get to the finals, Tony Kukoc is going to have to play a very important part. I don't think you're going to see a lot of three-point shooting from Kukoc, but when he is aggressive offensively, as Shaquille O'Neal barking at the officials on that call, but when as Shaq picks up his 4th, but when Tony Kukoc is aggressive, taking the ball to the basket, involved in the running game of the Chicago Bulls, especially on this floor at the United Center, the Bulls are a very strong ball club.
Tony Kukoc last season, just when he was getting used to playing with Scottie Pippen, saw Michael Jordan return, and Tony seemed to lose his confidence, playing very tentative, deferring to Jordan. Jordan even said, from what he had observed in checking out Kukoc via television, he's just not the same guy. He was affected by Jordan being on the floor.
I think a lot of the players were at first. They were still able to win ball games, mainly because of Michael's presence, but it took a lot of the players a lot of games to get comfortable.
Anderson was hacked. So Nick Anderson will shoot a couple. Michael Jordan called for his first. The stat line on Jordan, 21 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. And Shaquille O'Neal is headed to the bench. Or is he just going over to chat with the trainer, Len Currier? Let's see. 31 points, 14 rebounds. No, he will sit down.
I think he must have some kind of blood either on his elbow or somewhere on his hands, as Lenny Currier had some kind of tape out, but I don't think it was that. I think Shaq, who had his drawstring hanging out at the beginning of the game, somebody may have pulled it, and now he's having a difficult time keeping those pants up.
Was it Michael Jordan again off the all-star prank on Penny Hardaway? Foul is called as Jordan took the bump. Let's see if we can see what occurred with Shaquille a moment ago, and apparently it is the drawstring on his pants that came loose, so he went over to the bench expecting that he would be taken out, but Brian Hill did not make the substitution, so he had to remain on the floor, and now he is replaced by John Kukoc.
And he's replacing his shorts.
Yes.
As we speak.
31 points for Shaquille O'Neal. The Bulls lead 98-85. Down to 2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Anderson. Nick Anderson with his fourth field goal. He has 11. This is a close game right into the third quarter, and Orlando just went cold in the third. The game was tied at the half at 53, and the hot shooting of Tony Kukoc broke it open. Shot clock at 6. Jordan for Kerr. Yes. The Bulls lead 101-87. Hardaway for 3. And a loose ball foul. It's on Anderson. John Kukoc sitting down. Shaquille O'Neal is back in. So Michael Jordan, 5 of 6 at the line. And the Chicago Bulls on their way to making it 2 out of 3 on the season against the Orlando Magic. The Magic winning mid-November in Orlando. The Bulls winning here December 13th here in Chicago, led by Jordan, who had 36 points. And Orlando had beaten Chicago 8 of the last 11, including the playoff series last season. So the Bulls certainly feel good about what has taken place here this afternoon.
And I think they learned a lot about their ball club, and the way they came out did not just come down and double team Shaquille O'Neal at every opportunity. Played a one-on-one. He scored his points. Hardaway scored their points, but they kept Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott from getting involved from the three-point line.
Well, coming up following the Bulls and the Magic, it's the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns from Phoenix. Oh, Anderson with the foul on Kerr. Hardaway over immediately to help Steve Kerr up as the crowd reacts. Nick Anderson, the native of Chicago, hearing some boos. The high point man of the game, Shaquille with 31. Penny with 24, Michael Jordan 23, Tony Kukoc with 22, Scottie Pippen with 14 on 5 of 18 from the field.
Now, as good as the stars are on these two ball clubs, and of course we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, you still need at least a third player getting involved. Of course, for the Bulls, it's normally Dennis Rodman with all of his rebounding. He did that today, and they got it from the fourth guy, Tony Kukoc, whereas the Magic, they got it from Hardaway in the first half, Shaquille O'Neal all game long, but never got another player involved. And at this level of competition, the two best teams in the league, Seattle Supersonics Kukoc right in there with them. You need it more. You need it from more than just two players.
The Orlando point of view, disappointing performances by Dennis Scott. Not able to get going. 1 of 6 from the field. Nick Anderson not getting the usual shot opportunities. He has 13 points. Orlando had the hot hand early and cooled off considerably in the second half. And the Bulls will make it 25-0 here at home and a record of 49-6. Chicago will be home from Minnesota on Tuesday, followed by home games against Golden State, Boston, Milwaukee, and Detroit. We mentioned a moment ago that they have a very favorable schedule coming up. 12 of the next 16 are at home, while Orlando with a couple of days off. Then Wednesday back home for Miami. The new look, revamped Miami Heat of Pat Riley will take on the Magic on Wednesday. And then Thursday they play in New Jersey. Look out as Jordan braces the fall of O'Neal. We're down to 1:02 remaining. The Knicks and the Suns coming up next here on NBC. Still no official word as to whether Patrick Ewing will be able to play for the Knicks after spraining his ankle in the overtime win against Detroit last week. Missed the game on Friday night. And the Phoenix Suns have turned it around. They have won 7 of their last 10.
Well, getting everybody healthy for Cotton Fitzsimmons, a big factor. Now Kevin Johnson has been back. Charles Barkley just has played brilliantly at times. And of course, a big key having Danny Manning available. I said at the beginning that the Chicago Bulls interior defense, a big question mark against a quality team. I think they at least answered it for today. Both Luke Longley and Bill Wennington able to hold their own. They didn't have the third center available, James Edwards, who's on the injured list. And there's a guy, Herb Williams, hanging out there who was waived by the Toronto Raptors that may or may not end up with the Orlando Magic or the Chicago Bulls or some other team. But he is a big man that a lot of teams, or I should say contenders, would have some interest in for insurance purposes.
Luke Longley with 13 points. Here's John Bushler from Michael Jordan. 23 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. And as we have been saying, playing a different role, just looking for people, helping on back taps. He's been under the weather, as reported earlier, so he is not his usual fiery self from the offensive point of view.
But we also said if anybody can play under those conditions and being injured or being sick, seen Michael Jordan do it quite a bit. I've seen him have some fantastic games, but the Bulls didn't need a huge game from Michael Jordan. They just needed a lot of those little things and just punch some scoring when he could.
36 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And Tony Kukoc at the line. So a season high of 23 for Kukoc. And now Scottie Pippen replaced by the rookie Jason Caffey. So Pippen with 14 points. Only 5 of 18 from the field. Down to a half minute to go. Kukoc with the rebound.
Horace Grant, only his second three-point shot of the year. He doesn't even normally look for anything like that.
Here's Bushler. Bushler hitting a three. And that is his 5th three-pointer of the season. 5 of 11. 10 seconds remaining as O'Neal is held. Facing the double team, the help from Kerr. So Shaquille will go to the foul line with just 9 seconds to go.
Well, Brian Hill talked to Ahmad at halftime about it looked like two heavyweights just feeling each other out. Well, I guess it's a decisive knockout punch by the Chicago Bulls in this, the third meeting. Number 4 will be coming up April 7th in Orlando. And I'm sure another big build-up to the two best teams in the league.
Well, Shaquille is now 7 of 16 at the line. Make it 7 of 17 now. That'll be the final number The Bulls did it with the three-point shot. 13 of 27. They did it with Tony Kukoc exploding off the bench for a season-high 24. And they do it to the Magic for the second time this season, making it 2 of 3 over Orlando. 111-91. The final, a decisive second half for the Chicago Bulls. 24 for Kukoc, 23 for Jordan. And the Bulls go to 49-6 and 25-0 here at home. Michael Jordan is with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. Michael, feeling a little bit under the weather today. How'd that affect your game?
I was a little weak, but if I'm out there, I'm healthy. I can't make no excuses. But I think Tony came in and gave us a big game. I think that was a big lift that we really needed, and no one can really shoot the ball particularly well other than him. So that was a good outing for us.
Having a win like this with a total team effort has to go a long way with you guys.
Yeah, I think this is how we're going to have to play against Orlando. They exposed a lot of weaknesses in the team, and if we can give them different looks and certainly get some support from other guys on the team, makes it really difficult for them to guard us.
We talked about statement games last week when you beat Indiana. Beating Orlando, is that sort of a statement that they have to look towards you guys coming to the playoffs?
Just that, and then defending our home court. Right now we're trying to get the home court advantage, and if we can't win here, we shouldn't have it. But right now we showed that we can dominate here at home, and hopefully we can maintain that.
All right, Michael, feel better. All right, back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Ahmad. The Bulls outscored the Magic in the second half, 58-38. They win it 111-91. We'll be back in Chicago in a moment.
Dave has a dilemma. What to put on Wendy's new bacon cheeseburger?
Dave, something mild. Play it safe. Come on, don't be a wimp. Give it some zing. Oh no, Gouda would be nice. Spice it up. How about pepper jack? Oh my.
Well, Dave started cooking. A quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, the perfect sauce, and a slice of pepper jack cheese for a bacon cheeseburger that's really spicy.
Oh, Dave, be careful. Mind your own business. Attaboy.
Wendy's new pepper jack bacon cheeseburger.
It's gotta be the cheese.
Talk one on the black line.
This is for Coach Brannigan, who kept me in that game. And for all the kids who voted for me. For my family, who said there isn't anything I can't do. And for myself, who believes it.
Is Red Dog better tasting premium beer? Well, yeah. It's brewed without any fancy gimmicks by Plank Road to be gold, bold, and uncommonly smooth. But hey, it's your call.
Oh, technical. That's a technical.
Why do they call it a technical?
Why? Because what the guy did, that's technically wrong.
So in other words, you don't know.
No, I know. Okay, see, that's a technical.
Magic Johnson returns to NBC as the Lakers host the Rockets, part of an NBA doubleheader next Sunday.
Back in Chicago, a solid performance by the Bulls coming off the stunning loss to the Heat in Miami on Friday night. The Bulls over the Magic, 111-91. Let's get back to Ahmad with Scottie Pippen.
All right, Scottie. Now, you shot horrible. I can't put it any other way, but you got to feel good coming out of this game with a win.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we was able to get some second shots opportunities, so it didn't affect us as much as it would have hurt us if the team had been shooting the ball well. They didn't shoot the ball well neither, so it was a good game that we shot bad, and we was able to match them.
You got to feel good to bounce back off that loss to Miami a couple nights ago.
Well, it was, and today's game was a big game for us. I mean, we had to come out and really challenge this team. They're on a high right now. They had won 2 of their last road games, so we had to shake that loss out. And today was a game where we needed pretty much.
And bench came through.
It did. Tony played big for us, and he shot the ball well, and we needed that. If he don't shoot the ball well, then we may be looking at a loss.
All right, thanks a lot, Scottie.
Sure, thanks.
Good luck to you. All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad, and Chicago now needs to go 21-6 to hit the magic mark of 70 wins. Again, the final, the Bulls 111 and the Magic 91. Stay tuned for Game 2 of our NBA doubleheader. The New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns from Phoenix. That's coming up next right here on NBC. For Matt Kukoc and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert saying so long from the United Center. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.
Hardaway resident.
Lou Penny?
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, but I'll bet you anything we're gonna go to another boring museum.
All right, tourists.